Some war times. We're now back with part 8. All right, so we're going to continue with the 6 ether beatings. All right, so according to this means Mr. York had no understanding of their cultures or languages of Hammurabi, Akkadian, or the Hebrew astrology system because he called himself Marduk as another name for Melchizedek. When in reality, Melchizedek was Hammurabi the human, and Marduk was the spirit being that he worshiped, or the god. So this right here makes no sense. Melchizedek can't be Marduk in the way that York was using it, because York was going interchangeable. That's not how that works. Even if you are incarnated with the spirit being male and female, the way the title was set up is one is the servant and one is the master. All right, so it says in ancient times Allah was also known by names like Shamash, and again Eli, chief god of the Phoenicians, Baal, Marduk, Ra-Ray, Amun-Ra, Dambala, Brahma, Zeus, Jupiter, Ptah, Uranus, Molech, Lord, etc., etc. Eli, Elyon, Marduk was the god of Melchizedek. See, who it is written, met and also blessed Abraham of the Caucasian Old Testament Bible. Melchizedek was a Phoenician Arab originally. Let it be realized, let it be known. So again, just to add this in here, the fact that they say Melchizedek without mother or father is not true. Hammurabi, aka Melchizedek, father is known. His mother history is not been allegedly not known. So that's why they'll say he was without mother, without father. But we know that in ancient times, the male in these particular religions and cultures, the male was first. So it would say without father or mother, but they said the mother first because that was the key to letting other Jewish people know who knew that they hijacked this story, that this is who it was coming from or who it was about. All right, the nature books tells you that Melchizedek, aka Hammurabi, was a Phoenician Arab, and this spirit that inhabited Hammurabi, Melchizedek, was 6 ether and the creator of the Phoenician race and others. Okay, let's look at this. The Phoenician, Indian, and Mongolian races are what? 6 ether in flesh and blood, and thereby 6. 9 ball 3, verse 8 in part. Once again, y'all listening to a fool who keep asking y'all questions that he don't have the answer to. But the book's already been laid out. 6 ether produces who? The Phoenician, Indian, and Mongolian races. And these races are original man, the personification of the secondary creator called Ra. 6 ether is death. 9 ball 3, verse 7 in part. Once again, 6 ether. So when you see us say that York is a 6 ether teacher, nobody is playing the radio. We're not saying these things to libel York because somebody has a problem with him. No, this is what the information talks about. He's a walking 6 ether teacher, misinforming folks in favor of the Arab race. Okay? When we look at the SMAT circle in the nature book 2, page 68, you see the Phoenician, Mongolian, and Indian races in the 6 ether and 5 ether zone. See? Liquids with what? 6 fire. Right? Ethiopian races up here, but look, Phoenician race, because we was not created by 6 ether. We came in through sex, through our ancestors, who was 6 ether top. But the 6 ether secondary creator created the Phoenician race, the Mingolese race, and the Indian race. Okay? And you got the Mongolian race down here. So, again, when we say that York is a 6 ether incarnated being, this all is proven. And he lying to y'all about the nature books and mixed matching it so y'all don't figure out who he is. An organizer of their own moon culture called Judaism. The conspiracy to dethrone and depower kings and rulers of Africa and Ethiopian race descent continued with Melchizedek and his general called Abel. mentioned in the Old Testament of the Caucasian Bible. And again, look what he does. Look, you used a made-up drawing of Abram to help him further dethrone the mentalities of his followers through those different religions he was teaching. So he's still following what Hammurabi was doing. Okay? Because remember, the Ethiopian race, opposite races by nature, is the straight-haired people, or mankind in general. So we got what? Melchizedek and Abram working together in the present.
Are you Melchizedek?
Yes, I am.
You are the angel Michael.
Yes, I am.
In this form. So again, the dummy keep asking, was it incorrect for York to choose the name Melchizedek? This is what we mean that y'all are not mentally competent. Let's keep going. Abraham mentioned in the Old Testament of the Caucasian Bible. This conspiracy eventually led to what? The invasion of Egypt by the Hyksos. York, with his shenanigans, got Tamaray ran up on by the Caucasians in 2002.
We've seen authorities going in and out of those two pyramids as well. Some of the Nuwaubian nation remain on the grounds. Authorities, SWAT teams and officers are sitting next to them as they sit on the ground over here near the shade.
See, same pattern. I mentioned this before, right? And the oppression of Egyptians, remember the Nuwaubians called themselves Egyptians, by these white foreigners from Asia. Right? Because it was mostly Caucasian people that ran up on the land, namely Assyria. Melchizedek was a Phoenician by race and also a sun worshiper, right? Who conspired with Abram, who was indeed a moon worshiper, and East Indian. If you go and look on Tamaray, you see York had all kinds of sun gods, the earth god, the moon god, all that stuff is over there. So again, 6 Ether was still continuing to keep black people confused and dumb, which they still doing it right now. And York is a sun worshiper and a moon worshiper because y'all love Tahuti. And y'all following 6 Ether Melchizedek. So that's your sun and moon right there. All right? And paid homage to the moon god Shiva, same as Siva in Sin. Be it remembered. Nature Book 2, page 132 in part. If you read the earlier part, speaks about how the Hyksos Jews that Khufu allowed them to Kemet 5,000 plus years ago had a plan to take out all Ethiopian kings everywhere. The fact that Afro Uno said that means that they were in the background pulling strings of that Akkadian and Mesopotamian governments the same way they're doing to America through AIPAC, Epstein files, Zionism, the Greater Israel Project, the UN Agenda 21-2030 Sustainable Development Goals, 15-minute cities, even Project Esther, Project 2028, and data centers, to name a few. Hammurabi, with the sun god of Jupiter, whose Babylonian spirituality was pantheism, the worship of many gods, and the top god was Marduk. Today, Marduk is called Allah of Islam, right? And York started with Islam, teaching that. Again, 6 Ether connection. Who people call Allah today is the sun god, known in the ancient times by Agnomen, like biblical Eli of the Caucasian New Testament Bible. The word Eli is short for Elyon and Helios. The letters I and Y are interchangeable with each other, meaning one can take the place of the other. In ancient times, Allah was also known by names like Shamash and again Eli, chief god of the Phoenicians. Baal, Marduk, Ra, Re, Amun-Ra, Dambala, Brahma, Zeus, Jupiter, Ptah, Uranus, Molech, Lord, etc. Eli, Elyon, Marduk was the god of Melchizedek, who it is written, meant and also blessed Abram of the Caucasian Old Testament Bible. Melchizedek was a Phoenician Arab originally, let it be remembered, let it be known, Nature Book 1, pages 83 through 84. Here is where you have to use your sound right reasoning. Mr. York has taught Islam and put a picture of Shamash or Shemesh in the Unholy Tablets, page 1581. So here you got the picture of Shemesh. So once again, 6 Ether is still working through York. The nature books clearly tells you that this was a 6 ether sun god. Pictures of Ra, etc. When it comes to the pantheism of Zimri Lim, the moon worshiper, right, who they calling Abram, today has morphed into Christianity, whose gods are Geb, Tahuti, and Osiris, and York has taught all aspects of that and claim many of those 6 ether ghost titles as well. So to any of you Sabian and why we believe York is led by 9 ether is a lie. York is, according to the Bible interpretation and 9 ball and nature books, all of them condemn Ethiopians as targets of these negative force and names if they do not get away from them. The 6 ether to 3 ether forces that help ghost kind remove black people from power have continued to this day, from slavery and all forms of bad business deals to politics, anti-Semitism antics they use to clip your rights and livelihood, and deed thefts, which is becoming an epidemic in New York.
A Jewish man showed up with fake papers to take over someone else's home in New York.
You guys are trying to scam my boy out his property. Look, it's the second time he came around telling somebody he's trying to get him.
Alright, Daniel.
Trying to scam.
I came to do inspection of the house.
Ain't no inspection. You don't own the house. Get out of here.
Daniel,
you don't own
Daniel,
nothing.
You know this is a court order.
Like a court order.
He must vacate.
No, get out of here.
Neither side was willing to give in.
Fake court order. Look at this trying to scam. This guy's been here for years. Get out of here, bro. They call the cops. You came. The cops came. They did nothing. Get out of here. Yo, oh yeah. I don't know if you know this guy's trying to scam. We not playing over here. We not playing. We don't give a f about that little fake hat. We knock his hat off. We not playing. You heard me? We not playing.
I understand.
I'm trying to play. I'm trying to get him out of here before he gets himself hurt out here. You heard?
The case comes as deed theft is rapidly rising across New York, where scammers forge documents to steal homes.
What do we want? And when do we want it? Now!
Complaints have jumped more than 3 times in recent years, with authorities warning the crime is becoming more common.
People are left homeless, hopeless, and victimized.
What looked unbelievable is now part of a growing pattern affecting homeowners across the city.
So the point is, Mr. York is a part of keeping a large group of Ethiopians mentally dethroned, and I have said this is why he has used the names that 9 ether noon sciences have revealed. Nowhere in the book said choose those names that York has used and tricked his followers into using and also corrupted the old names into new forms of names that don't make sense or can't be verified in history. All right, so again, the names we supposed to use like nature, reason, need. You can use a number name like 1 in NoopooH, which a lot of these people did. Even Charles was playing with the number names years ago, but he want to act like he wasn't a part of it to fool y'all. You understand? Noonie Boos. You understand? It's plenty of names. Kinsu. It's names you can combo in the nature books to use. All y'all clowns using Ray and all this old crap. These are 6 ether ghost form names that York done manipulated and got you fools doing. Here, a great example is their so-called Ankh tweet. It don't exist. Nowhere in ancient Africa does this exist. This is 6 ether.
In the ancient Neolithic Egyptian language, the word Ankh means life, and the word Twi means 2. And so, unlike the Ankh with 1 single line going across, the Ankh Twi has 2 lines instead. Many people are under the impression that the Ankh Twi is a new symbol. No, no, no. The Ankh Twi is a very ancient symbol. However, most people confuse the Ankh Twi with the Ankh because they are not paying close attention to the details in the symbol, nor do they understand the symbolism. For example, most people, if they saw this symbol, they would say that this is an Ankh, ignoring the second line that is obviously present. That second line has a meaning, just like if a scarab was present on the Ankh, it too would have a meaning. Because of this misunderstanding, it was necessary in this day and time for one of our own scholars, Dr. Malachi York, to bring back
another mistake people make. Yeah, they call it an Ankh, but if you look at it, it's not really an Ankh because there's 2.
Yeah, no, I was wondering that.
Yeah,
I see on your arm there.
Yeah, that's the Ankh there. That's right.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah.
So like everything we teach and we go through levels. Yeah, so the Ankh will actually lead you to the Ankh Tui. Just like I said, belief will lead you to knowing. So the Ankh represents life. Yeah. Okay. And if you look in Egypt on the walls, on the pyramids, you always see like our deities and our ancestors holding the Ankh because it's the key to life. So the Ankh represents the key to life and the resurrection. The Ankh leads you to the Ankh Tui. This is called the Ankh Tui. Tui in our language means two. So you have your first life where you were originally given birth, and then you got kind of like indoctrinated and bamboozled and got spellbound, and then now you're waking up again, what we call a second resurrection. In religion, they teach you that you have to die first and go to heaven. We say, no, you can be born again right here.
And since Charles want to keep calling my name as if he's making points, let's look at what he said in 2015, because y'all don't realize that this Negro, Dr. Noom, look, see, Noom, right? You can see Noom in there. In our group, look what he say. Who is L? Religious. What about Malachi? Why doesn't Doc use Amanuba Ray Akavatar or Alton Ray? Alton Ray is 6 ether too. Or why isn't his last name Ray NoopooH? And these are good questions. But this is what happened when he was following right knowledge. He was coming up with this type of stuff. They got the Ankh Tui and a crescent. Is that Islamic still? Considering the crescent is a point of what? The moon. Moon worshiper. What language has a line on top of it? Sanskrit. There's no African language written like that. Why is he using it? Confusion. So this is the same Negro who's questioning me in the last video, questioning all of us, as if we the ones who are in confusion. You don't see us asking these Negroes nothing, except why y'all keep ducking the facts. As far as asking them something as if we need something from them, absolutely not. All right, so this is what 6 Ether has done and made him play himself as a fool. And we just keep showing y'all the receipts. Look what y'all got, all y'all dummies running around. He got an Ankh Tui in his head. No such thing as that. Nowhere in history that this foolishness exists. And the conscious community, the Kemet sector, has not said one word since this monstrosity has emerged as a lie. This is from Kemet by way of Mr. York's hidden history nobody knew about. Forget about there's no hieroglyphic source or carving anywhere that resembled this false creation. York continues to lie on our ancestors and plagiarize every race, including his own. Afro-Uno is a prime example. York created a cult off of Afro-Uno's writings in the name of Zupu 6 Ether. Now, let's get back to the mistakes York did by choosing to name his cult Sabeans, based off of what he thought Afro-Uno meant. Because just as Hammurabi Melchizedek was a sun worshiper, York was attracted to Sabianism because it means true star worship, but ended up going the Arab Phoenician route, which follows the ways of Zimri Lim, Abram/Abraham, who was a moon worshiper pantheist, and Sabians in old southern Arabia worshiped the moon god Al-Makkah. Right? You can hear the sound Makkah as in Mecca, right? Which is where the Arabs are there worshiping that cube with the black with the black draping over it.
Have you ever wondered what is actually inside the Kaaba? Now, you might think there's a treasure or even a royal throne inside, but that's only partially true. Visited by billions every year, the holy structure is standing quietly in the center of Mecca. From the outside, it's about 43 feet tall, covered in black silk embroidered with gold. Yet only a few individuals, like the custodians who take care of it, selected scholars, and high-ranking officials have ever seen inside. And once stepped in, what they find isn't something extravagant. It's just a quiet, empty room with 3 wooden pillars supporting the roof and the soft scent of sacred oils filling the air, which continues to come out of a marble box placed in the center, keeping the room gently perfumed.
And they just showed when they opened up the Epstein files that somebody took the old covering of the Kaaba and gave it to Epstein. And he had to lay it out on the floor.
Imagine one of the most notorious men of the 21st century standing over one of the holiest objects in Islam. This image alone has stunned people around the world. In the newly unsealed U.S. Department of Justice documents released in early 2026, a deeply controversial detail has emerged. Jeffrey Epstein received pieces of the kiswa, the sacred black and gold cloth that covers the Kaaba in Mecca. The kiswa isn't just fabric. It covers the Kaaba, the direction Muslims face every day in prayer. Each year, it's replaced before Hajj, and the old cloth is cut into fragments and given only to highly trusted institutions or dignitaries. It appears to show Epstein and another man examining a large black and gold embroidered cloth laid out on the floor. To many viewers, especially Muslims, the image is disturbing, even painful. Social media erupted. People asked, how did something this sacred reach someone already convicted of sex crimes?
So that should tell you a lot about the Arabs over there. Why would this PDF file and trafficker end up with the cloth of the Kaaba? Sabeans and Nawabians are, by all the information given, are still under pantheism and religious gods. The wrongness in that is that they are misusing the NoopooH, now Noon Sceince, and working against NoopooH and their Sceince Noon for 6 ether purposes. Now let's go into the Sabeans subject. My question to ChatGPT. The nature books mention Sabianism was followed by Amenubi Rehakti Narma, the first pharaoh. Kemet followers called Sabianism is star worship. So, who did the first pharaoh worship or his followers in the first dynasty? Because that will be the actual title, not Sabeanism. Chat responds. Based on mainstream Egyptology, Narma, often identified as the first ruler to unify Upper and Lower Kemet around 3100 BCE, was not a follower of a religion called Sabianism, as that term is used in later history. Duh, I just said that. In the teachings of Amenubi Ra'akpatar, Sabianism is presented as an ancient African science or religion centered on the stars. That is a doctrinal claim within Noon Sceince. At present, we don't use the word doctrine. Historians and Egyptologists have not found evidence that the Egyptians of the first dynasty referred to their religion by that name, or that Narma's followers were historically called Sabeans. Of course not. So, there are two different perspectives. Noon Sceince, Narma and his followers practiced an ancient African star-centered system called Sabianism. Mainstream historical evidence, Narma practiced the earliest form of ancient Egyptian religion, centered on gods such as Horus and other deities, with important astronomical knowledge, but no evidence that the religion was called Sabianism. If your goal is to evaluate Amenubi Ra'akpatar's historical claim, the key question becomes, did any Egyptian inscription from the first dynasty use a term equivalent to Sabeanism or identify Narma's followers by that name? To date, no such inscription has been identified in the archaeological record. The earliest historical use of the term Sabian or Sabean appears in different culture contexts, primarily in South Arabia and later in the Eastern and Islamic sources, not in first dynastic Egyptian records. My question, what would that equivalent be in normal spiritual sense? I know right now it hasn't been confirmed in Sabianism. Chat responds, which is Claude. No, this ChatGPT, my bad. The Horus cult. For Narma specifically, the strongest evidence points to devotion to Horus. Narma's famous palace shows him wearing the crowns of Upper and Lower Egypt under the protection of Horus. Every pharaoh of the first dynasty had a Horus name, meaning the king was regarded as the earthly representative of Horus. If someone in Narma's court asks what religion do we follow, the practical answer might have been, we serve the Nejiru and uphold Ma'at under Horus. If your research is trying to determine whether Amenubi Ra'akpatar's use of Sabianism could be a modern label for an early Egyptian celestial tradition, that becomes a comparative interpretation rather than a conclusion established by current archaeological evidence. it would require showing that Egyptian texts themselves who created their religious system with a distinct star-centered religion under that or equivalent name, and such evidence has not yet been found. Never said that. My response, well, Sabaism, of course, ism is a Latin suffix from Greek that didn't exist back in Kemet. What does Saba mean? ChatGPT responds, Saba as the kingdom of Sheba most accepted. Historically, Saba, South Arabian, was simply the name of the ancient kingdom in Yemen, whose people are called the Sabeans. In this case, Saba is primarily a proper name like Egypt or Syria. Scholars have proposed meanings, but no one is certain. The Semitic root SB, some linguists connected to a Semitic root meaning to emerge, to come forth, to depart. This is also related to the Arabic verb saba'a, meaning to leave one's former religion or to convert. See, look at this. All this is the root of Saba. So again, y'all got y'all trapped in religion again because y'all converted to these things. That is why early Muslims sometimes use the word Sabean for someone who had left one religion for another. See what York done did to y'all?
The Sabeans are a mysterious people mentioned several times in the Bible, yet their story is often overlooked. Known for their stature, wealth, and distant homeland, the Sabeans played both a historical and symbolic role in scripture. But who were they really? The Sabeans came from Sheba, a Semitic trading state in what is now Yemen. Archaeology shows Sheba was a thriving kingdom for over 1,000 years. From around 1200 BC to AD 275, its capital, Marib, became a hub for trading luxury goods, like spices and precious metals. The Sabeans were known not only for their commerce, but also for their military strength. Over time, internal civil wars weakened their kingdom. In the Bible, the Sabeans appear as raiders who struck down Job's servants and stole his oxen and donkeys. This event shows they were feared warriors. In Isaiah, the Sabeans are described as tall and powerful, yet destined to bow before Israel and acknowledge the true God. Perhaps the most famous Sabean is the Queen of Sheba. She traveled a great distance to hear King Solomon's wisdom, bringing lavish gifts. While the Sabeans disappeared as a distinct nation, their story remains preserved through their legendary wealth and influence. They remind us of the reach and impact of God's plan throughout history. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more biblical history.
Starting with originally he came wanting to teach us the science of NoopooH or NoopooH, which is Nuwapian, ties into Sabian. I already explained about the tie-in Sabas to Sheba or Makeda or Ma'at Kare, known as Belkis in the Islamic world, all the way back to the start.
It's just really to stimulate our minds, to let us know, right, that this is what this information is here to do, to stimulate our minds, to wake up our minds. And Wu Sabat, as the Master Teacher says it, and Wonderwap, as the Master Teacher puts it, is more a remembering tool than it is a learning tool. Okay? So whole trick knowledge that is taking place. Michael and his messengers goes to Saba or his army, those Sabeans, against the dragon and his army, those Luciferians. Okay? It's taking place right now. Hear this now. This is for 72 pages of dimensional links. Wonder what is here to relink you to your own. We use the word relink means that the link was broken. Now you had to amend it, relink us to our own. Come once again, the supreme beings of the pure green light, ethereal energy that they once were. Remember Revelation 12 verse 7? Michael and his angels, forget to dragon these angels, because these angels were the army, those Tasaba, those Sabeans, those of the green light, as opposed to the dragon and his angels, those of the amber light, okay? Thereby helping them to become once again the supreme beings of the pure green light, ethereal energy that they once were.
So when you listen to all of this is nothing but religion, and you're still mixing and matching this crap. Because when you study the Sabians, because I already showed you that York followed the wrong word because of the sound. and it took you back to Arabia. These Sabeans back then had nothing to do with taking them back to the aliens and extraterrestrials. This is stuff what York was doing. I told Earl this in the debate that me and him had, that York is putting stuff together that don't go together. And this guy right here is just giving you a little bit of snippets that they are following a 9th grade possessed dropout who is keep tying them into Arabic. Because in the beginning, if you look at what Doc taught all the way to now, it's a bunch of dumbness. It doesn't fit, and they're creating their own religion within a religion. That's all the point I'm trying to make. They're confused. 6, ether madness. Many scholars believe this is the origin of the Quranic term Sabeans, but it is not necessarily the origin of the kingdom of Saba's name. Does Saba mean star? No. So y'all running around here talking about y'all Sabeans and the suns and all that, stealing the stuff out of the nature books. Despite later association between Sabeans and star worship, especially the Haranians, there is no known ancient Egyptian, Sabaic, Hebrew, or Arabic dictionary that defines Saba itself as star. The association comes from the fact that some groups called Sabeans practice astral religion, not because the word literally means star. If Amanu Rakapata argued that Saba originally referred to an ancient African stellar science, that is a claim that goes beyond the current linguistic evidence. It would require showing ancient texts that define Saba that way. An interesting Egyptian comparison. If your research is trying to connect Nalma's religion with celestial worship, you might find the Egyptian word Sib pronounced approximately Seba. Very interesting. In ancient Egyptian, Seba equals star. This is a genuine Egyptian word found in hieroglyphic text. Notice the similarity. Egyptian Seba equals star. South Arabian Saba equals name of a kingdom. The similarity in spelling and pronunciation has led some to believe to wonder if there's a connection, but mainstream Egyptologists not currently derive one from another, as now they are treated as separate words from different language families, even though they sound alike. Remember, we just went through this about false cognates and folklore etymology. This is why York chose the word Saba, because he's using things that sound alike. That Egyptian word Seba may be the closest historical term to what Noon Science describes as an ancient star science. If Amanu Rakapata was drawing on Egyptian concepts, it's possible he was influenced by the resemblance between Seba, the Egyptian for star, and Saba, although I do not know of any public statement from him confirming that connection. It is an interesting avenue for further research rather than an established historical conclusion. My response: interesting. What is the glyph for Seba? And can you give me more background to this term, and does it go back to the first dynasty of Kemet or before? Chat responds. The Egyptian word Seba, the ancient Egyptian word Seba, commonly translated as Seba, means star. And here it is. The hieroglyph is a star. When you look at the picture of York members of the Sabeans, they got a crescent with that fake ankh in the middle of it. In other hosts, they don't have this because they're a moon cult, a modern day Hermopolis moon cult. It is usually written with the consonants SB dash, I don't know what that is right here, followed by the star determinative. Okay, that's the star determinative, okay. Which is Gardner sign N14, a 5-pointed star hieroglyph. A simplified transliteration looks like this. And this is probably why the demonic people have their 5-pointed star that you see in witchcraft and even on the Moors, Fez and whatnot. A simplified translation looks like this, where the star sign indicates the word refers to a star or stars, background of Seba. The word appears throughout Egyptian history in the pyramid text, Old Kingdom, the coffin text, the Book of the Dead, and temple inscriptions. So stars were enormously important in Egyptian religion. Here are a few of Kemet tombs filled with sabers or stars on the ceiling. Look at that. All over the ceiling. You don't see no moons up there. But look at the Ankh. There's no such thing as a double Ankh unless you holding two Ankhs and you trying to merge them together to make double Ankhs like that. But as far as that crap York done producing, it's pure garbage. Here's another ceiling of a tomb. Look at all those stars in there. Look at that. Imagine how long that took. Amazing. Look at this one. And they did this to the ceiling. Look at that. For example, the deceased king hoped to become one of the imperishable stars, the circumpolar star that never set, the heliacal rise of Subdet Sirius marked the Egyptian New Year and the coming Nile flood. Many temples and pyramids have astronomical alignments, so stars were not merely physical objects, they were associated with divine beings, the afterlife, and cosmic order. Does Seba go back to the first dynasty? This is where it gets interesting. The written evidence for the word Seba is securely attested by the Old Kingdom, especially in the pyramid text, late 5th and 6th dynasty. For the first dynasty, including Narmer, the situation is different. We have very few long written texts from that period. Most surviving inscriptions are royal names, labels, tomb inscriptions, and administrative records. Most Egyptologists believe many common Egyptian words, including words for the sun, sky, stars, and earth, would have existed in spoken language before they appear in surviving inscriptions. Of course, could it be even older than the first dynasty? Quite possibly. The Egyptian language existed before the unification of Egypt under Narmer. Linguistically, Egyptian developed over many centuries in pre-dynastic Egypt. Since people were observing the night sky long before the first dynasty, it is very likely they have already had a word for star. Whether that spoken word was exactly Seba cannot currently be proven, but many linguists consider it plausible that it has deep prehistoric roots. Is there a connection between Seba and Saba? There's where caution is needed. Is there a connection between Seba and Saba? This is where caution is needed. The similarity is striking. Egyptian Seba equals star, South Arabian Saba equals the name of an ancient kingdom. However, no accepted linguist evidence currently demonstrates that one word derived from another. They come from different language traditions, and historical linguists treat them as separate unless strong evidence emerges. That said, if you're exploring the ideas in Noon Sign that the Egyptian word Seba is one of the strongest authentic Egyptian terms related to stars and celestial knowledge, it provides a genuine ancient Egyptian concept that can be studied independently of the later historical use of the name Saba. For the word Seba, some people might render it Seba or Seba. Seba, depending on reconstruction, Seba close to the consonant spelling. The important part is the consonant skeleton. The vowels are secondary. In comparison, Hebrew also traditionally wrote most consonants, for example, Yahweh, and later readers supplied vowels. Ancient Egyptian works similarly. When comparing Saba, star, and Saba, the similarity is based mostly on the consonant SB, not the written vowels. The AE difference is not as strong divided because neither was originally written. The deeper question for your known science search research will be, is Egyptian star related historically to the later name Saba or Sabean, or are they only similar in sound? The evidence for the Egyptian word itself is strong. The historical connection between the two remains unproven. My response, I think Seba is not related to Sabean as it relates to Sheba in southern Arabia. However, Sabean, my creation, keeps the Kemetic version in line with Alpha Unu's story because Rehoboam was an ancient African king that gave honor to the sun and sun god. So the question is now, what were the roles Narmer Menez had and his helpers? Need a clean chart as it pertains to Seba star worshiping or honoring, please and thank you. So this will conclude part 8, all right, of Malachi letters. Stay tuned for part 9. Truly called the peace in wartime.